Let's build a mobile app without having to code, just using AI and powered by an Excel spreadsheet. In today's video, we're going to look at exactly that using Glide AI. The idea I'm working on is a card-based digital toolkit for product teams. It's designed to help product managers, product owners, and wider delivery teams spark creativity, unblock delivery challenges, and stay aligned with best practice product methods. The idea is inspired by a few different things, like thematic card decks using storytelling, creativity, or sustainability. As you can see from the inspiration, this is quite an immersive app experience, being able to deal and flip over cards. However, I've already created an Excel spreadsheet with all of the different cards that I want and the content I want to see on them. However, I want to learn two things from Glide today. One, can it take that spreadsheet and produce an app? And two, how close can I get to some of these more immersive designs? Let's jump into the tool and see. Here I am on Glide, the website that allows you to build AI-driven apps without having to code. And what's interesting about it is you can power the content by using an Excel spreadsheet. I've just created a brand new account. It's a free account, and this is the first thing you see. It's a blank app ready for you to add some prompts. In some of my recent videos, I've been working up the idea that I've got, and I've just gone through using ChatGPT to help me customize and configure a prompt specific for Glide based on the concept, the backlog, the brand identity that I have in mind. I'd recommend that you do something similar so that you can make sure you get the best out of the credits that you have available. The prompt that I've got covers a few things: the app's purpose, what the data source is, as I've got in mind, and how that is structured. A bit about how the decks work, the overarching user flow, some detail about the typography that I've got in mind, the layout and style, accessibility requirements, and key success criteria. It's pretty detailed, but it should give a lot of the information I've got in my mind straight to Glide from the beginning. I'm going to copy that prompt ready to use in Glide. This is my first time using this app, so it's a bit of an experiment. But what I thought I would do is two things. Firstly, I've attached an Excel spreadsheet with the content that I've got in mind for my deck of cards. It's got a series of different rows, each representing a different card and its content. I've then also pasted the full prompt that I've just generated in conversation with ChatGPT. Let me press enter and see what it does. Firstly, it's asked me some questions just to check some of its context. Primarily, it's asked me whether the attached document should be used as my CMS, and that is exactly what I want it to do. So I'm going to click import the Excel file and add the dealt column. It's also then asked me for the next guidance of action. It's told me that it uploaded the Excel spreadsheet, and it's asked me to confirm that it's happy for me to let it create the app design based on the guidance I've given it, rather than importing some specific designs. It'd be really interesting to try import it with different specific designs, but for today, I'll just let it proceed. Quite quickly, it's come up with some initial designs. It's not quite what I was expecting, but you can see it allows you to select a theme by the looks of things, but has quite a detailed set of options on here. So not really the behavior I would have expected by selecting just the theme, which for this case is retrospectives. I later realized that that plus button wasn't a selection of themes at all. What it's doing is it's actually allowing you to add new cards directly onto the app. Not the behavior I was expecting, hence it confusing me, but quite useful for a certain type of application. Just not quite what I wanted for this one. And I can also select a card, and then I seem to have my set of cards, but again, it doesn't look quite as this as I would expect it to. But I can select these and I can see some of the card details. It's a very functional UX design as it stands, but it is pulling in my data in a structure that makes sense. It's got the key question, it's got the subtitle, a description, and the reference, which are my columns in my spreadsheet. But it's not quite what I was expecting in terms of general design. It's also got this deck section. If I click on that, I can see then all of the questions listed out again. So you can see the full deck of cards, and then I guess go into them in a different way from there. The next question it's asking me, given my prompt, is whether it wants me to add the card dealing action. And it also says about customizing the UI further. I'm just going to select the top one and see what happens. So again, it's great in terms of conversation. It's given me some guidance here on what implementing the card dealing actions would look like. There would be a deal card area, which would randomly select a card and deal it, and then only deal new ones that haven't been shown before. And then you can again go into the view details piece, or you can reset the deck. So it looks like another way of interacting with the same data. This sounds more like the experience I had in mind, but I can imagine it's going to stay pretty close to the quite functional structure that we're seeing today. But let's give it a go. I've selected please implement all the actions now, as opposed to just the first one, because let's see what it comes up with. Okay, it's now saying that all of that's been implemented, so you should be able to now deal cards randomly, view the details, and then deal new cards. Let me navigate back to a home screen if I can. Maybe then I'll go back into the deck. I actually find it really hard to find where the deal card section is. I think if you go into a particular card, you can show that it's dealt or not mark it as dealt, but actually dealing them, maybe this is what it sees as dealing them. Maybe the deck over here is what it sees as meaning dealing them. It's not very clear either way. So far, Glide has achieved the first goal really well. It's taken the data from my spreadsheet and it's presented it within the app. Great job on that. However, it really just feels like a different way of interacting with a spreadsheet as it stands. So I'm going to try one more Hail Mary to see if I can add some more dynamic features to this app. And I'm going to do that with a custom prompt. Okay, I'm going to put a prompt here that says update the overall flow to start with a screen that shows just the button deal cards. Then make the option to select the theme secondary. What I'm trying to do here is just bring the dealing aspect to the forefront. I've kept it pretty vague, but let's see what it does. When I use the burger menu and then select delivery deck, it just takes me to this home screen here, which again doesn't seem to be giving me that dealing of a card aspect. So I think really this is bringing me to a bit of a dead end. It's clearly a very functioning app with a CMS at the back end, but it's not giving me a lot of the interactions I'm hoping it will give. You can go and look into more details here. I've just been using the AI agent, but you can go and look at the data itself and tweak that data. You can also go into the layout and manually change stuff. So I think if you spend a bit of time here, you could configure this to be exactly what you want it to be and not rely on the AI agent to do that. There's also an element called workflows, which allow you to build some automations. Not quite sure what that would look like for me, but I guess I could automatically send emails to people if I got a registration flow on here, for instance. And then there's a general settings area where you can control the name and the icon. So this is where I could add more of my branding, for instance. So while Glide has done a pretty good job of taking my Excel spreadsheet data and turning it into an app, it does feel like a really functional site. And although you could then go in and customize it a bit further, go into those settings, I actually think it's going to be quite limited for my particular use case. But saying that, if you've got a use case where you've got a lot of structured data and you want people to be able to interact with it in a different way, whether on a mobile app or on a website, then Glide might be a really good tool for you. If this video helped you get a better understanding of what Glide can and can't do, then make sure you like it and also subscribe to this channel. I am trying to build that app idea in public, so I'll be testing out some other AI-driven tools to help me do that. If that sounds of interest, then subscribe for the journey. So while it wasn't great for my use case, I actually think Glide has some good uses. Some of the examples it talks about on its website are around taking a lot of different data sources and making them visible to people. Maybe you're tracking operations or logistics, for instance, could be really helpful to you. But for my use case, it's not good enough. It's not going to be an immersive experience like I'm hoping for. And so I will need to try some other tools. And I will see you on a new video soon to show you more.